The learning exchange trip to Helsinki was amazing. We had the choice of different organisations to visit. When we got there, the Children in Scotland staff were excellent in that they had left no stone unturned and they had planned it very well. In terms of the actual trips themselves, some of the organisations were, it was very insightful hearing what they had to say. And then also you had the additional aspect where we were basically spending a lot of time with another 30 practitioners who are working with young people in Scotland. So we were able, it was a great learning environment because we were able to see what was happening in Finland and listen to the experts for Finland, but then also kind of discuss it ourselves in the evenings. So all in all, it was an amazing experience. The reason that I applied to go on the Finland trip in the first place was because personally, on a personal level, I like to learn and develop myself, and I know that the Nordic countries are held in high esteem in the work that they do with young people. There's also the fact that I'm passionate about young people and I want to be able to learn stuff and then come back and disseminate the information back in my local area. And it was a really worthwhile experience for doing this. The Migrant Youth organisation train up young migrants who then go and spend time with isolated elderly people in their own homes. And at the end of the programme, it means that the young people have then got like employability skills and a reference for their CV, these kind of things, whereas the elderly people are obviously getting visits. Sometimes it's the only human contact that they get in the week. They also have similar kind of intergenerational work in an organisation called the Helsinki Mission, and they've got a place called Albert's Living Room, and it's a superb thing that a lot of the delegates were saying that they would love this in their own areas. It's almost looks like a living room where it's really well kitted out with nice carpets and couches and stuff, and elderly people who are maybe a bit isolated get to come and sit on the couches and hang about in the living room. But you've also got parents who are struggling with very young kids can come and get a bit of respite. They'll drop the kids off, and the elderly people and the staff basically sit in the living room and play about. So it's kind of ticking a lot of boxes. It's giving the parent some respite, the young person's getting interaction, the kind of toddler, and obviously the older person's getting to meet people and play with the kids. The issues and challenges that young people in Finland face from what I've seen, are very similar to the issues that young people in Scotland face. So you've got homelessness, you've got mental health concerns, youth employability, and you've also got a lot of migrants in Finland, and the outcomes for Finnish migrants is very poor, particularly around employability and employment. I think the stats are almost 40% youth unemployment for migrants. So we learned quite a lot about how they try and tackle these issues in Finland, and we've had a lot of discussions, and that was one of the reasons that I thought it was really valuable going on the trip. We had the choice of which organisations that we could visit, and obviously people that were more interested in the early years could go to specific visits, but I was more interested in the youth side of things, so I was choosing youth organisations to go to. We went to several really good organisations, one of which was the Y Foundation, which works with young people around homelessness. And I'm not sure if you know that Finland have got what they call the Housing First programme, which is a really good programme that's trying to eradicate homelessness. And there was this great part of it where the guy had finished his presentation and he was taking questions, and I asked him the question. He was talking about crisis flats and how you would put a young person into a crisis flat, and then after a few months what would happen in Scotland was that if the young person was coping well and he was learning within his flat, we could then say, right, you can move on because you've learned within this flat, but we need the flat for someone else, you can move on. And I asked the guy about this, I says, how quickly do you move the young people on? And the guy looked at me perplexed and says, we don't move them on if they're doing well in the flat, we leave them in the flat, why move them? And I said, but do you not then run out of flats? And he says, no, we buy more flats. So I thought that was excellent. It was very simple, but everybody in the room was like, you just buy more flats? Because in Scotland we would try and move them on quickly because we'd run out of flats. So I think that's maybe one of the major things that I've seen possibly around homelessness too. If we can just work out of a big trust or whatever can put down lots of deposits just so that we've got more housing stock. From my point of view, I come from a youth work background as opposed to an education background. I did visit a couple of schools on the trip, and the things that, in terms of the things that they do in Finland that I would like to replicate here, I think it was more around the culture. So it was a lot less formal. So the young people in the two schools that we visited, there was no uniforms. And there's also breakout spaces where if a young person, say that's maybe 10 or 11-year-old, says to the teacher, I'm struggling within this environment, sitting round the table in a kind of formal structure, can I go out into the corridor and learn? They've got things like sofas out in the couches, sofas and couches out in the corridor, and it's excellent because I know certainly as a 10 and 11-year-old myself, I didn't really like the formal aspect of sitting at the desks, and it would really have helped me. And I think that aspect will help a lot of young people that maybe don't quite fit in at school here and don't value it. It would improve their perception of school. And so there's a lot of networks and contacts that we've built, and I've met a lot of good people. We've had a lot of really good discussions. So I would say that would be my highlight, the kind of overall and learning environment that was created throughout the trip.